right, Ceci, sum up the experience.
It's been really good. I've learned a lot, and I've just learned about it's cool experiencing the whole Olympics thing and everyone with their flags on their sail and only one from each country, so that's been cool.
What about today's performance? First outside.
I think I like the outside better today, actually. The waves were a bit smaller than yesterday, but after yesterday I had learned a bit more how to work my way through them and stuff, so I actually felt pretty good out there. I didn't actually end up doing that good in the race, but I actually felt quite good. And then inside it was windier, but less waves and flatter. I had a pretty bad start. The first start we did was good.
I was going to ask you about that.
Was really good, and that got canceled, so that kind of sucked. And then I tried to do the same thing again, and it didn't quite work out.
Yeah, well, the first time I was concerned you was going to get stuck behind the boat, but you didn't, the start boat.
Yeah.
And you got a good jump. But the second time, you got stuck there.
Yeah, so...
Just not enough room?
Yeah, not enough room, and I wasn't coming in fast enough, and there was too many boats there. So it was kind of hard working back, but I actually ended up working back quite a bit, and I think my downwinds were quite fast. The second downwind I was able to pass 2 boats, I think.
So overall, you're pleased with your
I'm really happy.
experience?
It's been really cool and nice, and I'm glad it's over. It's been really tiring in some of the toughest conditions against the best people in the world, so it's nice to have a break now.
And what important lessons have you learned, you feel, this week?
What?
And what important lessons do you feel you've learned?
Probably just each small mistake can be big things if it's everyone's really good in the fleet. There's a lot to lose. So.
And being here, is it giving you a lot more motivation now going ahead with your sailing career, looking towards the big events like Pan, Tokyo, perhaps? Do you feel a lot more hungry now, having had a taste of this?
Yeah, it definitely does. I feel after staying a week in the village as well, it'll be really nice to see all the other sports. But after just sailing here, it's definitely given me a lot more motivation to work harder and try and make it again for whichever regatta comes next.
You think the more sailing you do, the more repetitious things come, and then the mistakes get less and less?
Yeah, I think just more time in the boat will really help, and just getting more practice racing and in fleets and stuff. So.
It's kind of difficult because we don't have that much laser racing in Bermuda. So what's your idea of spending more time in the boat?
Probably more practicing in Bermuda than going to regattas away. I've been doing quite a bit this past year and stuff, so just more of that, I guess.
How does that set you up for the Red Bull?
Well, I don't think they like lasers that much because they're really different to catamarans and stuff, but it's been fun sailing around in those and learning a lot in those, so I'm excited to learn.
Can that be a bit confusing at times because the catamarans are different beasts of a boat, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it is quite confusing, but we're still really new to those, so it's been slow. Getting back in lasers is a lot easier. When I go back and try and jump in the catamaran again, I'll probably be why is it not?
The physical work that you've been doing to prepare for the Red Bull, did that assist you over here in Rio?
Yeah, well, I had been doing my own stuff for lasers in here, so I just switched over, and that's been quite good, and it's been helpful here, I think. So.
How about training a lot more with guys?
I don't know, it's just been funny. I mean, here we're sailing against all girls, so that's different,
right.
But it's fine.
All right, well, congratulations on your experience in Rio.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thanks.
Well, Cameron, it's over.
Yes.
It's over. Give us your take on today's first inside and then outside racing.
Both were pretty tricky. The inside race I got behind early and I just couldn't really catch back up, and then the second race I was actually feeling pretty tired, so I just wasn't feeling too hot for that second race, so I didn't do that great, but happy to have completed the process.
That race, the first race, the inside race, it appeared to take a lot out of you. The line you took for the first leg, you had to work very hard to get back.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, plus it was three laps up and downwind, which just made it almost a one-track race. So everybody would go one way and then next. So it's hard to pass people, and I got stuck near the back, and then I just couldn't work my way through.
It looked like on the first upward leg, after you tacked back, you were right in the mix, but then going around the mark, things seemed to get away from you.
Yeah, it was just that last third. I just I missed 2 shifts, and then in this fleet,
You're
it's
chasing.
it takes 2 seconds, and then you're behind. So
Overall, your performance throughout the Olympics, are you pleased with how? Well, obviously you're not pleased because you could always do better, but overall, sum up your performance.
it was a good experience. Let's just say that, just because I know inside me that I could just do so much better, which is that's what happens when you've only been preparing for the Olympics for 2 years, because that's when I started, but that's just how it all worked out for me. So
Right.
I have to accept that, and I mean, I'm happy to have been here, happy to have competed, and happy to have had a good race, and then a couple of other good moments. So all in all, it was a really good experience.
Do you feel you met your expectations before the Olympics? You mentioned you wanted a few good races to be competitive in some races.
Yeah.
Did you achieve that? So
Yeah, I
you
think I
walk
did.
away feeling pretty satisfied that you at least met what you wanted to do.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, like you always want more, but you have to accept that sometimes you're not always going to be up in the mix, especially when you haven't been as experienced as a lot of the other guys. So
If you feel like you can do more, does that hunger want to continue on?
it does. A small break is required, but it just knowing that I have all that more to give, and to be able to maybe grow a little bit more physically and get more experience, I think it can make a huge difference, and I could move up the standings a lot.
If given the opportunity to compete in Tokyo in 2020, 6 years experience in that boat, you think it's what's required?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's if you do the whole cycle, the whole Olympic cycle, 4 years training seriously, I would have to think that I would have a good chance to be in the middle, not near the back, at least in the middle, mixing it up properly with all the other guys. So.
What is it going to take for that? Obviously, finance.
Yes, fine. Of course, the biggest question of them all. But yeah, that, and then just a lot of determination and a lot of suffering, but it's always worth it in the end.
Well, I actually see the same thing, because it's very difficult to train in that type of boat in Bermuda, because we don't, well, not train, but compete, get regular competition. You
Yeah.
can train all you want, but you
But you're
have to
not-
be in
yeah.
race mode sometimes. So how do you adjust to that?
I mean, you just have to basically move away. You can't really be at home too often, just because there's nobody there to train against. So you'd have to go find some training partners, or go to another country and stay there and work with other sailors day by day, and then find a trainer, like a gym trainer, and for me, eat a lot of food and work out
See,
a lot.
people don't understand that. People don't understand the fact that, because we've interviewed you before, and you've said you've got to put on weight.
Yeah, it's so hard.
Right.
And just like 2 years sounds like a long time, but when you're always competing and you're always training to like get better in the boat, the physical aspect is really hard to.
Takes its toll.
Yeah. So to be able to gain weight while staying fit is it's really difficult. But I think if I were to do for Tokyo, I think I would be able to manage it a lot better, because I would have more time. So.
So what were you sailing in before? What races, what boats were you in previously?
Well, before I started this, I hadn't sailed for maybe 2 years. So I sailed the laser radial when I was in my teens, and then I pretty much stopped sailing, and then I started again 2 years ago.
What got you back into it?
I don't know. I just something about Rio 2016 made me really, really want to do it, and then it all just sort of happened, and then I was on my way in the middle of 2014.
So would you not be ashamed now to not look towards Tokyo, not build towards that next cycle?
It
You're
would.
Still young, you're 25, right? I mean, you got a
Yeah.
lot of the guys.
Oh, I mean, that feels old to me now.
Wise,
But-
wise, say wise.
Yeah. Especially when you think how old you're going to be at the next Olympics. So
You'd be 4 more
Yeah.
years experience.
exactly. So I think I'm leaning that way, but still got some things to think about for sure.
And you got a wild card this time round. If you were to continue, I guess it'd be nice to get the young
Yeah,
scheme.
100% would be the goal to qualify at the soonest opportunity, and that way everything is easier when you do that. So that would be the goal for sure, which would be Denmark 2018 ISAF Sailing Worlds. That's the next Olympic qualifier. So 2 years from now.
All right. So your message to anyone that's got aspirations of trying to qualify for the 2020 Olympics, no matter what sport it is from Bermuda, what would you tell them?
You have to give everything else up except for your sport and just work as hard as you possibly can. That's really the only way to do it. That's what everybody else is doing. You can't do it halfway. Maybe in years past you could have maybe a job or another hobby, but now it's just everything is so professional, especially sailing. The last 8 years is just it's exploded into like people like sponsorships. People are full-time sailors paid to do it. So you got to be hungry for it, and you got to work really hard, and you got to give everything else up.
There you go.
All right.
Brilliant, man.